My name is tamer p5.m4v. I am Egyptian, full-blooded Egyptian. I lived here my entire life except for like 2 to 3 years where I lived abroad in America, in California. I have two sisters. I grew up with them until like the age of 7 or something, and then they went and got married and had kids, and so I was pretty much as far as I can remember, I was like the only child, as far as I can say. I went to the States first time ever at the age of 9 or 10. That's pretty much it. I went there for 5th grade. It was because my sister was having a baby and we had to go there and spend the first year with her and stuff. It was an amazing first year. And it was such a weird culture for me because I barely knew any English, you know? Like, I spent most of the time there just arguing about, you know, what does this mean and what does that mean? And I had a fight with my cousin once because he said, I was telling him, no, I like means I don't like that thing, and I don't like means I actually like that thing. So it was such a weird back and forth argument, and then I got it in my head that, hey, he actually speaks the language, maybe I should trust him. And then after that, it was interesting. I got accustomed to the culture there, and then I came back here and spent another year here. So I spent another year. Again, it was kind of weird coming back because I left there like 5th grade. I came back here with a right. It was a big jump, you know. You're spending time with people that are older than your age, much older. It's a weird situation. My sister was giving birth to a second child, and my mom decided to go again. So I went there for 8th grade. Yeah. And mind you, I was in Egyptian teaching all my past life, so like Egyptian schools, like it was international school, but it was an Egyptian system. I went there again, and I'm like, oh crap, what is this? Everyone's different again. What's going on? Anyways, I was there. I spent 8th grade there, and then and 9th grade actually, and then came back 10th grade. Started a whole new system here. It was so weird because I had like the mentality, and you know, you're thinking that people are as they were in your memory, but no, they're completely different. You know, it's rough age, you know, puberty and all that. So you leave, you come back, and what's going on? I had no slang terms whatsoever. I had no terminology or no. My Arabic was like broken up from like a couple of years. I'm like, what's happening? It was so weird, but it's okay. I got back here, 10th grade, and I went to an American school. My parents convinced me that the only way I could stay here if it was an American school. So I carried from here until college. I went to AUC after it, and here I am. I've always appreciated family. I've always felt like family is the only constant thing around you. I would like spend my life just trying to maintain having a good relationship with my family members. I think religion is pretty important too. I am a Coptic Orthodox, but I'm not that religious. I go to church and I do everything. I fast pretty regularly actually. And the long month and a half kind of fast, it's killer. But at the same time, you don't take it to the spiritual level. You're kind of going with it because, you know, you've been brought up that way. But I've always wanted to know that I've always wanted to become religious at some point in time. Or I always felt like I never wanted to stray away too far that I lose that value. I always wanted in my life so that if I wanted to become religious, I could, you know? It's like a leash sucking onto you kind of thing. I'm a big on honesty. I think honesty is important, and it's so weird that the people that you don't find honesty nowadays at all. That just when you see it in front of you, when you see a person who's pure and wholesome, it's sort of foreign to you. And especially in my field, I'm supposed to be going into theater and acting and, you know, that kind of environment, the entertainment business, let's just say. And that's just a weird business. I mean, everyone's out to get you, literally. So finding honesty anywhere, it's kind of like a shock. You're like, wow, so this is what it actually is. You know, I guess this kind of rebounds on the whole family thing. I think it's important to have a steady relationship that you progress into having a life partner. I think that's something that is very neglected nowadays, and everything now is about like power plays, and that really gets to me. I hate that. I don't do power plays because it always gets worse with time. So if you marry that person and you already have that thing going, in 10 years from now it's gonna be worse. I've seen it. I've never actually experienced it, obviously, but I've seen it in so many levels. It kind of made sense that no, this doesn't work. Not on a religious basis. Maybe it started like this, but nowadays I kind of understand the value of like saving yourself till marriage, kind of thing. It's weird, but not many guys would admit that. Yes, I'm 24 and I am a virgin. Wait, 25. Crap. I've never been big on personal stories. When I came back from the States, 10th grade, I was so culture shocked from going back and forth so many times and meeting people all over again, having to like reinvent yourself all over again every time, that I've kind of made up my mind that no, I'm not gonna do this. I mean, you get picked on growing up as a kid, especially as a guy, you know, you're always picked on. I've been picked on over there, it wasn't that bad. You deal with it. But here, it felt like everything around you is just, you know, overwhelming you. And when I came back, I couldn't deal with that at all. And so by the time I got back, I had the mentality that I don't want to stay here. I don't want to, you know, deal with this anymore. So without trying, I sort of isolated myself. So I'll be having like lunch alone, pretty much. I wouldn't go out to like the lunchrooms and canteens that much because they were always like crowded, and there were so many people there that I didn't want to see or deal with, that I just stayed on my own. Being as, you know, then it developed into something a little bigger then. I started developing sort of a fear from crowds, and I would really be scared from like going out in public. The last couple of years of high school, I pretty much ended up I wanted to declare computer science at the time. I found it, you know, it was comforting. It felt like the right move. I was really good at it, and so I sort of spent most of my time around computers, and you know, that kind of protected environment behind that. And so like during lunch hours, I would be like there working on whatever program I wanted, or you know, I wouldn't really do much, but I was having fun in my own way. But I've always, you know, missed out on something. Then I didn't know what it was because, you know, I was never really close with anyone else, you know. But I got into college, and that's when it really hit me that I have a fear of people. I have a fear of being in open areas with like crowds of people. The Greek campus is the most populated campus at AUC. Freaked out from the Greek campus. I would never step foot there. When I had to go to the library, I remember going up the stairs, and I'll be right by the stairs that are on the side, and I just go up. I wouldn't look at anyone or see if I knew anyone. I'd just walk right in. By the end of that second year, I was struggling in my studies like crazy. I had a decent GPA, but it was not enough to declare my major. I haven't declared my major yet by the end of the second year. And they made a big deal about it. And I improved, like, I repeated courses, doing all the things I could. But you know, when you're not really succeeding in one area of your life, academics don't really fall in the proper area as well. The final exam, I remember being panicked so much that I felt so unprepared for it. And I realized that this is the final exam that will determine the rest of my life. And that is a big thing going up to it. And then I felt so unprepared and so panicked and everything that I actually had my, well, first and only panic attack. It was horrible. I remember I was walking out of the house and my knees buckled and I sort of fell on the chair. I was like grabbing my heart and trying to breathe. It was hard and it was not good. Did not feel good, and I sort of like lost full function of my body. You know, I try to work it, but now it doesn't work anymore. My life was completely falling apart then, and thankfully my mom came in. It was a perfect timing because once that happened, like 5 seconds later, my mom walked in and sort of like, she gave me a sedative, she calmed me down, she pretty much helped me to get up, and she's like, go, sign the paper, the exam, if you don't pass it, it does not matter. And that's what pretty much what I did. I wrote my name and walked out of that exam. I didn't deal with it whatsoever. And that was that. And I didn't care at all, because that felt like a heart attack. It did not feel like a panic attack. It was very extreme. Anyways, ironically enough, that actually helped me with my fear of people. Because walking up into the crowds, I no longer cared. It was like, I dealt with the worst. What could possibly happen after that? So I would walk in there. You'd still, because you've been dealing with something for so long, for like 2-3 years or more, you still, go into crowds, you're kind of iffy about it. You kind of maybe like, you get minor anxiety, but it was nothing as it was before. It helped a lot.